Karen Breagy from Black Swan Journals, and today the timing was right to make a vintage style card. I love vintage things and antiques, and I thought I would make a card out of new supplies that look old when you're done. And these are some things that mainly I got out of a scrapbook paper pad that I'm going to share with you in a moment, but also some cardboard from some Amazon packaging, some music notes, dictionary pages, things that you'd already have around the house. Maybe not the music paper, but definitely the cardboard and book pages. And there are also some embossed papers there, that craft colored with the basket weave. That I made myself. You may not have that, but just showing that you can use the cardboard as an alternative. And that's actually what I used today, that Amazon cardboard there. So these papers definitely looked old when I bought them. And here it is. Here's the pack. And I already have a lot of scrapbook paper. I like to make my own papers too, dye them, paint them. I don't need another scrapbook paper pad. But I went into Joann Fabrics to get some paint, and I just couldn't resist going down that aisle. And lo and behold, bought it. So anyhow, I'm using it and having fun with it and sharing it with you. So here's that embossed paper I was talking about. And instead of that, I'm going to use this corrugated cardboard that I cut up from Amazon packaging. And here's a background stamp that I've had in my stash for a while. And you don't need to use stamps. I'm just showing them to you in case you have things at home like this. And then I love this company, Bo Bunny. I'm brand new to YouTube, so I'm not endorsing anything or anything like that. I'm too fresh and new to do any of that. But I love this company because they have a lot of vintage things, vintage looking things. And I like this one here I'm pointing to now. You don't necessarily need these others. Like, those would be so easy to make on your own, like so simple. But that one in the upper left corner, I'm going to use that. I think that's a pretty cool stamp. So yeah, I'm just showing you the different supplies in the music paper. And in that pack that I showed you, that paper pack, came this sheet as well. And you can always cut these up for focal points. I really loved this one and intended on using it today as the focal point, but it didn't work out, and you'll see why later. But it actually came out, I think, much nicer than if I had used that. So here are the other papers too that I was going to make a second card with later in another video. And if you have any like old Scrabble letters or anything like that, those could be useful. I'm not going to use them today, but I just thought I'd mention it. I do use them a lot in cards. And then I have some sequins in here too, because antique cards often had like glitter and metallic on them. So I love to represent a little bit of sparkle. And here I'm going to stamp the background of the card. And this is just a craft piece of cardstock. I folded it basically like to make it 8.5 tall. And when it's folded, 4.25 wide. And a lot of antique cards are like that. Have you noticed that? Like vintage cards and antique cards, a lot of them are like tall and skinny. So that's why I did that. And here I'm just using a stamp positioner to stamp the background. And I use some Memento dye ink. And the color was Northern Pine. It's a very deep green, just in case anybody's interested. And up in the, oh, here's some other things I'm going to make another card with another day. Not in this video, but I thought that number 20 on the Amazon packaging was cool. So I'm going to use it. I think it's kind of neat. But I wanted to say in the upper left-hand corner of the screen is a rock that my Aunt Donna painted and recently gifted me, and I love it. So I'm featuring it here. So yeah, I'm just giving this ink a little dry with my heat tool, and the paper buckled a little, so I'm just showing you you can heat the other side of your paper and it reshapes it. There's that rock. You got this, she says to me. Thank you. I'm giving it a kiss. Thank you, Aunt Donna. I love you. So this is my card base, and that background stamp is my background. You don't need the stamp. Oh, little pumpkin seed break here. Um, you don't need the stamp. I just have one, but you don't need it. Also a chocolate break. So here's a piece of that scrapbook paper from the pad I showed you earlier. And now I'm going to distress it. I recently got this little mini, I thought it was adorable, this little blue bird. It's like a little mini cutting wheel for fabric. But I thought I'm going to try to distress papers with it. And I'm going to leave it on camera, but it didn't go so well, so I don't use it. I end up using scissors like I showed you a moment ago. The only thing is, it dulls your scissors or any tool you use pretty quickly. So you want to use maybe an older pair of scissors or something like that that you don't care about anymore. Or you'll be buying a new pair soon. um, so yeah, give this a shot. It's fussy. It's dangerous. And it's tedious. It's like it's not giving me production. I'm impatient. I want it faster. So yeah, I'm not going to use the adorable little bluebird for this purpose again, but I'm going to give it a shot for its intended purpose on fabric another day. So here I go to my scissors and I distress my edges real good. Tear, rip, run it along, rough it up. Now I'm taking a pencil and I'm like rolling the edges, distressing them, working the fibers, breaking them up, making them look used like they've been handled or stuffed in and out of a drawer, for a good 50 to however many years, 100 years, who knows, could be longer. So I realize these things don't actually simulate, real antique things. But I feel like it does a nice job to give that feel and that vibe. And so here I'm kind of like folding the paper over and then back again as if, a corner got folded that way when papers lay around and get stored. And now I'm sort of just kind of crushing the fibers, making it look older, more worn. I don't know if you can hear my wood stove in the background, but it's making some noise. I'm sorry if you can. It shouldn't be doing that. We have to call the guy. Yeah, it's not supposed to do that. So anyway, back to card making. Vintage card making. That's way more important. Yep, so just work those fibers, distress them, tear them, bend them, rip them, and just keep sort of looking at it now and then and say, hey, do I like this? Does it make my heart go pitter-patter? Or would I like a little bit more? And I just keep going until I feel like my heart is happy. And so here I was happy, but then I felt like I couldn't see my background enough. So I'm ripping down this next layer to make it a little slimmer so you can see the background stamp is revealed and you can see it more. So now that I did that, I just want to redo, a little bit of what I've already done. I fuss with it a little more. It's relaxing. Yeah, it's not fussing. It's relaxing. I don't know. Like it's just fun to mold the paper, play with the paper, handle the paper. So now, I think I'm gonna ink the edges, and I'm choosing 3 inks. Inevitably, I choose 3 inks and gold as well. So really 4 things. But my first one is Rusty Hinge, a Distress Oxide ink. I actually would rather use the Distress ink here, but I don't have any. I only have the oxides on hand. So I'm going to use what I have because I'm really a big believer in that. Even though I broke down and bought that darn scrapbook paper. I'm only human. But I really am doing a good job at using old supplies and not getting things that maybe I don't have to have. So I'm going to go along with the Rusty Hinge all around. And if the camera lets me some time here, I wanted to mention, I don't know if you all run into this if you use these inks, the oxides, but I find it so odd that some are so juicy, like right from the store, the day you buy it or whatever and unwrap it. And others in the same situation, right from the store, the day you buy it, it's like dry and gives no ink. Well, I have to say, Rusty Hinge is a juicy one right off the bat, and I love that. I love it when they have juice. So now I'm using the black soot, and again, I'd rather have not oxide, the regular, but I just don't have it, so I'm using what I have. I love that black because it just makes it pop. It really gives that dimension that the eye seems to love, at least mine. um, excuse me. So I'm going to keep going in with the black soot. And just, where I think it looks nice. What I don't want to do is all of it. You know what I mean? Like, because then you're just covering ink after ink. So randomly place your inks. And I didn't show it, I guess, here, but I did also use red mahogany oxide by Tim Holtz. So that was the last one I used. And now I was done with inking, and I'm gluing down. I'm going to glue it down, so you're seeing the back side. And I left in the footage of me fooling around with the glue bottle because if you're new, I think it's nice to know that these things happen, so don't get frustrated if they happen to you and you think it's not normal. It is normal. Don't worry. Don't get frustrated. And life is not perfect, and problems arise. And what I'm learning in life now is to how do I deal with my problem? That's what's important is how do you solve the problem? In what way do you go about it? Do you get upset? Do you get angry? Do you not like that, what's happening and you're frustrated? Or do you be calm? You notice there's a problem. You be calm and you go quiet so that you can hear the solution. I'm learning that and I'm applying it, and it's wonderful. I highly recommend it if you don't already do this in life. It's just a life changer, a game changer. So I'm gluing that baby down, and I left the gluing in because I wanted to show you like the amount of glue I use, where I put the glue, in case you're new. So notice I don't want it to be flush and flat. I want it to be curled up like it's old and tattered and worn out. And how lovely. How many people have admired it, touched it, loved it, treasured it. And it tells that story because it's tattered and AKA loved. Right? It's loved. So now I'm just fussing and giving it a little TLC, little love. I'm happy with it. I'm going to use the piece that I handled first, the piece that I considered finished. But here I wanted to show you a little bit of what I went through to tear off the layer. Um, I'm not very versed in doing this. So what I've noticed in my life is the more I do something, like months or years even, you just pick up tools and hacks that you didn't at first. So anyways, I'm new to this, so if anybody knows a faster way to get that stuff off, let me know. But what I chose to do was take the corner of that metal ruler and use it to my advantage and lift that paper, slice that where it had a valley, and use it to like lift it and rip it off. So here I'm just the piece I already did off camera, because it took a minute, took a minute to do it, to get it the way I wanted it, to get all the layer off. I ripped it to size, showing you that on camera. And here's another oxide ink that I've had in my stash, and it's the Red Mahogany by Tim Holtz. And what I'm about to show you here, again, I left this in case you're new, is I put on a new felt tip here, so it's white. And I'm showing you how hard it is to like get the ink on there. I feel like this one was not juicy right off the bat. I feel like some of the colors are and some aren't. I don't know if it's me, where I live, our climate. I live in New Hampshire in the States. I don't know. I did hear a hack though that you could add glycerin, like a few squirts of glycerin, and you can like freshen up your pads and make them juicier. I would like to try that, but I have not tried that yet. So here, not only do I ink the edges, I like to give the front some color, and I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to use the same three colors, also the rusty hinge and the black soot. Little bit of tea here. My mom bought me these mugs. My mom passed not that long ago. I miss her so much. She bought me a whole set of bird mugs that I'm a bird watcher, and that was the nuthatch. And yeah, thank you, Mom. I love you, Mom. So here's the rusty hinge I'm putting on. You really should wait for that other to dry, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna go for it. And it came out just fine. So anyway, but other colors might like mix and make like a muddy color you don't want. So you might want to let your colors dry in between. And here I'm popping it with the black. I love to pop it out, give it that black. It's just necessary in my opinion. Without it, it's flat. The colors were too monochromatic, and I love me some monochromatic, but in this case, that black, I felt it just my eye needed it. So here I'm using that Bow Bunny stamp, and no need to use the stamp repositioner, because I'm not fussy about it here, and I'm happy with whatever I get. Whatever I get is gonna be great. It's gonna go with the look of the character I'm going for an antique looking card. But actually, it comes out pretty good. So it was a win-win either way. I didn't care. But so, yeah, just inking it up with some VersaFine ink. This is a pigment ink. It takes a long time to dry. But it comes out really crisp, and that's why I use it. A dye ink in black, it just doesn't come out as crisp. So, yeah, pressing it down here. And came out good. Doing the other side. Came out good as well. Most of it's going to get covered, but still it's just part of the layering, because the layers, and the distressing, it's just, it's what makes it. So now I've got my cardboard piece, and here I am. Always do this, okay? Always check before you glue things down that your card is arranged the right way. Like I want it to open the way I just was checking. Not the other way. So before I glued that down, I checked. So now here's my solution. Do you remember earlier I was talking about that I liked that piece of smaller like looking ephemera that was in the paper pad? Well, what I did not plan out, like I wasn't grounded enough. This didn't come to me. It should have come to me, but it didn't. So to use that piece, the card would have had to have been landscaped instead of portrait. And I really wanted to simulate that antique looking, tall and skinny card. And they were always portrait. So I thought, ooh, I just don't, I can't use it because if I put it portrait, it didn't fit, yada, yada, yada. So I scrapped it and decided to flip through the paper pad and found this lovely large image. I cut it out and then I like fussy tore it with my hands, as you saw there a second ago. And I had to tear off a little bit of the bottom of the dark peony flower there because it didn't fit, but that's okay. And now I'm doing the same thing, distressing the edges. Looks so much better when you do. Rolling, distressing, tearing, giving it character, giving it some love, making it look yummy and old. And just so you know, I never end up using that lovely horse wooden stamp on the left. I thought I might, so I wanted it around me, but I didn't. So now I'm going to apply some texture paste from All To New, but I want to let you know, I'm showing it to you here so you can see what it looks like, the consistency and the texture, but in a palette knife. But I want to let you know you do not need this. I just have it in my stash because before I learned that you could just use like household spackle or joint compound, or I'm not sure what other names there may be for it, all over the world. But it's what you would like patch a hole in the wall with, or like even like a little nail hole in your wall. And I would say pretty much every apartment or household probably has this, and that's all you need. So once I use up this store-bought stuff, I won't ever get it again. Nothing against All To New; it's a lovely product, but it's pricey. It to me it is, and joint compound is inexpensive, and it's a lovely way to just reduce and use what you have at home. So I did dry it with the heat tool because it on the instructions it says it takes an hour and a half to dry, and for the video's sake I want to keep it moving here. So I dried it a little bit, and it's not totally dry, but it works out. And now I'm going to put some gold wax by Hero Arts on the edges of the the peony piece there. And I left this in a little bit for you just so you can see. I basically have a brush that I have dedicated to this purpose, and I do not clean the brush. The reason why is I want it to be stiff because for me, I'm sure there are better ways or different ways or however you like to look at it to apply this product. You can certainly use it with like stencils and like all kinds of things. But for me, I wanted to build it up. So I found that like a stiff brush that you like, kind of ruined by not cleaning it. I found that that works really well with this paste to achieve a look that I'm looking for. So, yeah. And then I thought, you can't have too much metallic gold, right? You just can't in my world. So, I'm adding some to the corrugated cardboard from Amazon. And then I set it aside. So now I'm using the same glue as before, but I didn't mention, but you probably know, but in case you're new, it's Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac. It's an acetone or acetone based glue. It smells, I feel like it's probably not good to breathe. I don't know. Open a window, but I use it because when you're using heavy materials or fabric, cardstock or, cardboard lace fabric, you definitely want to use a really strong glue like that. So once that gold wax paste dried, I'm adding some of the very fine VersaFine pigment ink here on the edges to make that focal point piece pop. And also, I didn't get it in the footage, but I had a piece of lace and I glued that down to the cardboard. Or if it did get in the footage, I'm sorry, but if I didn't, I want to just say, if you didn't see it, you want to put that acetone-based glue on the tips where, like the peaks, the tips of the cardboard are, and then touch the lace to that, because there's no reason to put it in like the valleys of the cardboard because it will never touch the lace. So, and less is more. You don't. It does dry clear, but it dries shiny. So you don't want to. In my opinion, you don't want to see it. Like I want to hide. I want to hide the glue. So yeah, when I finally finish with this, when I'm happy and makes my heart go pitter patter, I'll be done, and then I'll end up gluing that down as well. I had so much fun making this card. I always think of my daughter when I do old things because she'd she'd be like, "Mom, that's ugly." Oh, Mom, oh, you know. um, Although she did give me a like or a heart or whatever it's called on Instagram. I'm totally new to Instagram. I have like 4 posts on there, but I'm building. I'm brand new, so I'm building a business here. But but anyway, yeah, I always think of her. But you know what? I can't help it. I love antiques. I love vintage. They make me happy. Can't help it. Maybe I've been there, done that, like I was an old soul. I don't know. Oh, here, I'm showing it. So yeah, I'm just putting that acetone base glue, that Fabrifix glue, right on those risen parts, those peaks of that cardboard, and put the lace down. And now I'll glue down this focal point here. And yeah, so I'm loving it and having fun. And if she sees this, she's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, this is awful." Sorry, honey. I love you. So yep, gluing down with that same glue and showing you how much I put on, how close to the edge. I don't want it to bleed out, but I also don't want it to glue down flat because again, I want it to look like it's curling up away from the card because I want it to look like it's old and it's been around. So sometimes I pull off the piece of the glue when I'm done on the top because that way it doesn't seem to build up a bead, and then I put my little pin back in so it doesn't get all clustery in there. So yeah, I feel like I didn't get enough here, so I'm just coming back with a little more glue. So here it is at this stage, and I would like to do a sentiment now for the middle. And here's the one I'm choosing. And I've never used it before, but I've had it for a long time in my stash. And then here's a dictionary I got at a flea market. It's very old, very old. The pages are I was going to say paper thin. um, there was no pun intended there. They were just so thin. Like if you looked at them, they would tear. They were so thin, but they were so lovely, and they had such beautiful patina, that amber color. So I stamped the stamp, and I was nervous because I wasn't sure if it would rip the paper because it was so delicate, but it didn't. It came out great, and I ripped it, as you see here, to the shape. It is now. And then I applied that same Hero Arts Gold paste. And now I'm showing you this because I'm I don't want to cover up the focal point. I don't want to cover up the fussy tearing because it's part of the beauty. So I'm ripping the sentiment, I'm ripping the love paper and weaving it sort of in and out of the torn um, peony, peony flower focal point. And also here, I'm like, I glued it down, but I like pushed it up with my fingers so that it gave dimension, so that the letter V was like up in the air. And then I kind of glued down the E underneath. And it made it pop out and have more life. So I got these butterflies years ago at, I think, Hobby Lobby. And here I am sort of like trying out a couple of different things I thought might look nice. And I had some ribbon and a key. And I thought, love and the key to my heart. I thought that was a really pretty pairing. But it looked too, I don't know, it didn't pop. I didn't love it. Then I thought maybe both of them. And then I thought that was too busy. So I ended up going with the butterfly. But the butterfly looked a little flat. So I decided to try to pop out the butterfly with the reddish color of this color we've been using, the red mahogany. And it did a good job, and it looks way better in person than it does on camera, but there's a really nice red hue on the top part of the wings, so that when I glue it down, it pops out, it stands out, and it does not get lost on the card. So I never trust the little pieces that come with these things. Like, I feel like if you give this away, I don't want these things to fall apart. So I usually deconstruct them and re-glue them myself because I know my glue is trustworthy for long term. So I recommend that. And yeah, here it is. I absolutely love it. I hope you do too. But here I'm going to go along and pop out the edges with the red mahogany. And I do the back as well. And I do it with the rusty hinge as well. And that's pretty much it. And I figure I would definitely hand deliver this card, or if you want to mail it, when you put it in an envelope, just tuck the lace in. But I would put it in a package and then mail it that way because it's very dimensional and it won't go through their machines. So I think I can't stop. I can't stop with the gold. I cannot stop with the gold. I'm on a gold kick like you can't believe. And I don't even know why I say I'm on a gold kick, because I've been on a gold kick for a long time. Like my whole life. Yeah, I've always loved gold. So I don't know if that's a kick, but yeah. So, anyways, I think it really just adds so much. It really does, and it pulls it all together on all of the layers, and I don't overdo it. I don't think, in my opinion, but I think it looks good with it. So, anyhow, I just wanted to mention that I'm going to probably hand deliver this card, but if I were to post this card, after I put it in an envelope, obviously I would tuck in the little lace edges, but I would get a padded envelope and then probably like hand cancel or tell the postmaster that you need it's padded and you don't want it to run through the machine. because I think the machine, it would get caught in there. So just wanted to mention that if you make one of these and you'd like to mail it. And also, I wanted to mention that I'm brand new, like I was saying, to YouTube, and I'm actually a professional gardener for a living, but trying to end that and start this. I've always loved crafting on the side when I had time. So, anyway, if you like what I'm doing and you're interested, would you please consider subscribing? It would really help my channel grow. Thank you so much.